What's up, trading family? Welcome to Source Code Sundays. Yeah, I'm thinking about starting a series every Sunday for those who are interested, or those coders that are out there that want to leverage their skills with the trading and help create indicators and bots and such, where I could help you guys solve your problems and such. But here I've got a problem that I'm looking to solve. So if you can see, this is an EA that's running. Right. And, this is the EA for the lightning bolt strategy. So this is basically an EA that's running an indicator. And then the EA is performing based on what the indicator tells it to do. Right. This is all in MetaTrader 4 and MQL4, coding right in that platform. No need right now in coding externally or writing any code externally, but just so they can get an understanding of how it works. It's probably the best start, a starting point to learn MQL4. But anyway, I've got this unique problem, and basically, as you can see, my EA is compounding positions. So as we begin to see that there, close all those positions there in a profit. But as we begin to, let me pause that. As we begin to gain many positions and prices going up, if you take a look here, price is going up. And then at some point it's going down, and it closed all the way down here. It didn't give us, on my indicator, my EA didn't close the positions until it's given up profit. So when you have a lot of positions, just a few points can lead up to a lot of money. So I want to manage that, right? So I'm going to speed this up, and I'm going to just show you exactly what the graph looks like, right? So right now, if you notice, the report shows it started at 25,000 and a total net profit of 68,000, right? So, and that's over, I think, starting from June to current day, I think 3 months. So, but that's not the important part right now. But what's important here is if you take a look, you see these spikes, right? And that green line means account equity. Do we know what account equity means? That means that's your when the account equity is not equal to your account balance, that's your unrealized profit or losses. So for example, the blue line is my account balance. It shows that I have an account balance of $24,789, but the account equity is $55,000. That means that I have positions running, and as those positions are growing into the positive, the account equity is increasing. Those are unrealized profits. If I were to close my positions, then that green line will balance out to the blue line, right? That means that I've been now converted that unrealized profit to a realized profit in real money. So what's happened here is, if you notice here, if I mouse over, the account balance is 24,000, say 25,000, and the account equity is $55,000. But when the position was all said and done and closed, we closed at, if you take a look at that equity number, at $42,000. So that means to me that we've given up 42,000 divided by the 55, which was the high end. We've given up 23% of our unrealized profits. So I want to close that gap. How do I do that? Well, what I'm going to do is I'm not going to manage that on a individual position level. I'm going to manage that on an equity manager level, right? So here, if we just go here, this stuff is not important, but if you go here, manage equity, basically I have this function that manages my equity. And basically what I do is I set a ceiling or a maximum amount, an equity trigger, right? And that equity trigger is 2 times your account balance. So that's 100%, right? So if my 25 turns into $50,000, I then want to add a trailing stop, not to a position, but a trailing stop to my actual equity. So if my equity goes up 100% and then it drops 3%, I want an action to happen. And in this case, this is the logic here. This is something that, is easily can be shared. It's not, the meat and potatoes of things, but basically I'm calculating to see what is my maximum equity over as I'm in trades, what is the maximum equity of all running trades? And then if it goes beyond my trigger of 2.0, which is 100%, if my maximum equity is over 100%, I then look to see if it's then dropping below 3%. And if it is, I'm closing positions. I close the positions all automatically. So now if you take a look at this, this spike here, now let's run it with the equity manager in place. Right, so this is the manager equity code that I just put in place, that I just uncommented it. And now if I run it, same period, same everything, And once again, I've gone from, right now I'm at 68,000, from 25 to 68,000 with a major spike. I'm giving up a lot of my value. Now when I run the strategy tester, I'm going to let it run. It's running, it's doing its thing. Now, if you notice my graph, you see how it's smoothed out there. So it spiked. And once it started to drop below my threshold of 3%, it just closed all positions and we captured it. I don't really care how the individual positions are performing. What's important is growing my account, right? So as it went over my growth threshold, and then it started to drop below my trailing stop threshold, it just closed all the positions. And now you notice that we should have seen an increase in account balance. So let's take a look at the report. Take a look at the report. So we went from $68,000 to $73,000 in total net profits, and that's just an account equity play. So there are many different things that you need to do to manage your account. And this is the account equity play here. And basically, if we were to walk through it, I'm getting the current equity and I'm comparing it to the max equity here. I say if my current equity value is greater than what I've already captured as my maximum equity for running positions, I then, of course, I then update the max equity value to be what the current value is. And I maintain that. And then I test and I say, hey, if the max equity is greater than my equity trigger, which in this case, we said 2.0, which is 100% growth, then I then do something else. I then calculate and I look to see if I create a trailing stop, and I look to see if the difference between my current equity and the max equity is greater than my 3%. And if it is, I simply just close all my positions. And there you have it. There is the logic for a max equity play. So hit me up, inbox me, leave a comment. Tell me what you think about Source Code Sundays.